So Chris Waker, I met here in Encinitas, California, through a very fun group called Fun Tuesday, and our friend Sherilyn Jones, who will be here tomorrow. And from the minute I met Chris, I knew that he was magical because he's unshakable. Like what I would say is unshakable in his confidence, in knowing that he's choosing the reality of his dreams and he's going for it. And so I think you guys are going to be really, really excited to hear from Chris. Welcome, Chris. I'm so grateful you're here. And the first thing I think I would love for the audience to hear about is a little bit, tell us about your journey, because you're a professional athlete and with a little twist. So I'd love to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you for having me. For those of you unfamiliar with my journey, I grew up as an adrenaline junkie. I grew up in Vermont. My father put me on motorized vehicles before I could even walk, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, all of that stuff. And then I found a passion for the board sports. I started skiing at a young age, transitioned into snowboarding, skateboarding, surfing. As I grew up, I started getting into competitive snowboarding, competing at the regional Vermont series. And then as I progressed, I found a love for competition. I love the thrill. I love the progression of it. I had obviously a big passion for it. It gave me a lot of joy just to find something that I could enjoy with my friends and my family. And it was just, I loved the snow. And so I continued competing. And right around my sophomore year in high school, I got accepted to a winter sports academy. Very prestigious academy in Vermont, Stratton Mountain School. 100 of the alumni were, they transitioned to national teams, 60 of which were on the Olympic teams. I believe there was like 5 or 6 medals from the Olympics from the alumni. So going into the school, I had some pretty big shoes to fill, but I was determined. I wanted to work really hard. And so my junior year, I was able to start competing professionally on the world tour. So competed all over the world, all over the United States, Argentina, New Zealand, Europe. I was able to do the World Cups, do tours. I even went to South Korea for the World Championships and represented the U.S. there. And then towards the end of my career, I transitioned into coaching. I started a program in Breckenridge, Colorado, where I trained a bunch of high-performance athletes. And it was just such a joy to share my love for the sport and watch these athletes grow, share my passion, watch them progress. It was almost just as rewarding watching my athletes learn tricks than it was for me to learn tricks myself. And then in 2019, I was awarded the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Coach of the Year, which was very, very blessed. And I'm just grateful for the amazing athletes that I've worked with, and a few of which are still going to try and get on the Olympic team this year, which is great. Unfortunately, a year and a half later, December 24th, 2020, it was Christmas Eve. I was going over to Copper Mountain. I was working with an athlete who was getting ready for a World Cup. We were out snowboarding, going through the terrain park. We were flying over these big jumps, sliding down these handrails. And on our exit of the terrain park, we were going down the easiest run of the mountain, not doing anything crazy. And I went to go over this little hill in the terrain, and I jumped and turned my board sideways. I was going really fast, but I wasn't doing anything crazy. And I caught the edge of my snowboard, and it just drove my neck straight into the ground. So right there, I slammed my face. I went to go take a couple of deep breaths, tried moving, realized something was wrong. My friend came up to me a couple moments later, asked me if I'm okay, and asked me to grab my leg. And a couple moments go by, and I'm like, "Hey, man, are you grabbing my leg?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh no, I'm paralyzed. My life's over." And this is where my imagination went a little bit dark for a second. I imagined everything that gave my life so much joy and happiness: snowboarding, coaching, I was instantly rendered a quadriplegic. So I'm in a wheelchair right now. I can move my arms, but I have zero finger function and I have limited upper body strength, which is, or like a tetraplegic, quadriplegic. Um, but yeah, so I was imagining everything that gave my life so much joy ripped away from me in the blink of an eye. But I learned pretty quickly that I had to transition and change my perspective and focus on things that I could control. And that was my effort in, I went to the one of the best spinal cord and traumatic brain injury hospitals in the country. And I was able to just focus on my recovery. I was like, all right, I'm going to prove these doctors wrong and I'm going to just hit the ground running. I'm an athlete. I know what to do. I know what this recovery looks like. But it took a lot. I had to relearn everything. I had to relearn how to feed myself. I had to relearn how to sit up, to balance, to feed myself, manage my bowels, my bladder, how to dress myself. Just the simplest tasks that we take for granted. I had to relearn how to do all of those all over again. But it was huge for me because, of course, I wanted to walk out of the hospital. That was my goal. That's what I was imagining. I'm like, you know what? I have a little bit of sensation. I got this. But if I just focused on that, I don't think I would have had the recovery as I did because I really appreciated each one of those little victories. I appreciated me just feeding myself for the first time, me just being able, even though it took me 30 minutes, I got my pants above my knees one morning and I was just so stoked. And, getting into a wheelchair for the first time. And so it really threw a lot of things into perspective about things we take for granted. And once I got out of the hospital, I got back doing the things that I love and moved to California out of the snow. And yeah, just keep sending it pretty much. That's my theme now is still gonna send it. Before I was sending it on my snowboard and 2 years after my accident, I was able to get back on snow for the first time. Uh, I was able to get back in the water surfing. 3 years later, I was able to start driving again. And now I am competing on the Adaptive World Surfing Tour. So was just traveling around the world this year. I went to Australia, Hawaii, and the final stop was here in Oceanside. What you got for my first podium spot in third place. And since then, I have been doing public speaking. And that's kind of I really found a passion through coaching. I found the ability to change the lives of others. And I wanted to continue to do that. And I found myself connecting a lot with people in the hospital and sharing my positive mindset with them and the tools that I've learned as a coach and as an athlete. I really enjoyed sharing that with others. So that's when I got into public speaking 2 years after my accident. I've been able to do that over the past couple of years. And now I'm transitioning into also some mental game coaching for athletes. So getting back into the action sports world as well. So yeah, that's just a little brief extended bio of my journey so far.
Yeah, and I think it's so powerful for people to hear that because they see your face and they start hearing about all the wonderful things you're doing, and then you're like, and then this thing, and because they can't see that you're in the chair, so it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And what I love about you is I've witnessed you, like you're going on dates, you're driving cars and going out on dates, and you're doing all the things that people do. But man, if I had to learn how to like my bowels and I can't even fathom going through that. It's like humbling, right? So for I think
Well, it's crazy because a lot of you see someone in a wheelchair and you think like, oh man, like it's a shame that they can't walk, but there's so much more that goes, beyond just the ability to walk. And it's simple things like that. And then trying to find parking spaces and this world wasn't built for inaccessibility. It's an enablest world, and it's unfortunate that I have to try, and some restaurants aren't accessible. I have to That was a big fear of mine too after my accident, was coming back out of the hospital into the real world and not going out because I was scared of what if I can't get in? What if there's a set of stairs, or what if the bathroom is inaccessible? I'm not able to go to the bathroom. What if I can't get into my friend's car? Or so it was definitely terrifying, but I learned that just you have to get out of your comfort zone just a little bit more every day. And as an adrenaline junkie as I was, it takes a lot less to scare me nowadays. But I've been able to do adaptive mountain biking as well, um, and just so many things that I couldn't have imagined when I was laying face down in the snow, not being able to feel or move 80% of my body. I couldn't have imagined 5 years later I was able to fly an airplane. I was able to do adaptive fly fishing tours. I was able to, like I said, surfing, adaptive skiing, just so much that it's crazy to think that I've been able to do what few are able to accomplish in like a lifetime. It's I just feel super blessed as well. And obviously there's ups and downs, and this month has been pretty hard for me, but we're just you just keep moving forward and always switching that perspective to a positive.
Yeah, I loved what you shared. Not many people can even fly a plane. Like I've wanted to fly a plane, I haven't gone and done it. So I love that you've gone to do that. And I love that you've changed your what if to like switch it from what if this thing is going to go wrong when I go out the door to like, I wonder what would be possible if I thought about flying a plane, and then it opens doors, right? So you're changing the tone of the same question.
Mhm.
But I guess one of the things I'm curious about is what are the things you're dreaming about today? Now that you're here, what are you dreaming about?
Um, I'm dreaming about, I guess, just continuing connecting with others is a big thing for me. I love public speaking. I love coaching athletes and coaching others. I think a big imagination for me is just imagining. I'm able to imagine just how beautiful life is, I think. And I have a perspective that few are able to see because I've had everything ripped away from me. So I think just seeing the waves in the ocean, even if it's, and so some surfers, they get out and they're like, oh, the waves weren't that good. But on the worst day, I'm just so excited just to get in the water. The ocean is so healing, and Mother Nature is so beautiful. So I just feel so blessed every time. And it takes a lot for me just to go surfing. So because I can't paddle on my own, it takes a community. I need people in the water to help me, one, wrangle on a wetsuit because California water is not that warm, unless just for a few summer months. So we have to get the wetsuit on. Then I need someone to push me into the wave. Once I get on the wave, then I'm independent. I can surf on my own. And then I need someone on the inside towards the shore to kind of collect me, once I'm done riding the wave, to help get me back into the ocean. So it takes a community. I'm just so grateful for my friends and random strangers that I've met in just in the parking lot, or in grabbing an acai bowl, and I just spark up a conversation, and people are like, hey man, how can I help? I'm like, well, I always need people in the water so I don't drown. But I've just met so many amazing people, and I think after this injury I've been able to become so much more vulnerable, not being afraid to talk about vulnerability and the things I've gone through. But it's crazy because as I'm more vulnerable, everyone else is so much more vulnerable too, and they're so much more susceptible to sharing their story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has gone through something, knows someone that's gone through something. And for me, it's easy to see because I'm in a wheelchair. But a lot of things people are going through you can't see. So it's just amazing how many people I've connected with, and I learned so much from other people's journeys as well.
That was something I was curious about is people's interactions with you. So I'm curious, when people see you, do they engage with you? Do you engage with what are the range of experiences that you have with people, and what's some fun, surprising experiences?
Fun, surprising. Well, what's great is, um, I mean, there's some like good and bad stuff
Yeah.
that I never really knew about. But I mean, everyone's usually pretty susceptible just to asking for help. It's a lot of people in wheelchairs they don't like it when you just come up to them and just start assisting without asking. So that's a big no-no. But I always enjoy it because for me in the grocery store, I can't reach for anything. So it's always nice to just ask. Um, and but I've had some great interactions with people, but I've also had some weird interactions where I'm like, that was a weird thing to say, for someone that doesn't know me, just to come up and be like, hey man, what'd you do? Break your neck? I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I did. I'm a quadriplegic, and just some stuff that I don't hold it against anyone. They don't know, but yeah, just definitely some interesting stuff. But I love interacting with people. I always smile at people, and just I love just normalizing my disability and just treating me like anyone else. Don't treat me, any different. Just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I can't talk to you. I can't communicate. I can't laugh and joke around and stuff like that. So, but my community around here, as soon as I moved to California, I've just met so many amazing people and just learned about a lot of all different walks of life.
Yeah. And so what's something that you would love people to take away from your story? You mentioned, and also I just want to loop back one more time. You mentioned the idea of sending it. And in case people don't know what that means, can you talk a little bit more about the what that means to an athlete?
I
And
would love to talk about sending it. Sending it has been my life. So yeah, as adrenaline junkie, sending it means giving something 100% effort. It means no holding back, no letting up. And if you're thinking, how does sending it apply to me? I'm not an action sports junkie, but you can send it in all walks of life. You can send it in your business. You can just give 100% commitment to a speech or voice out your opinion. You can send it by reading a 500-page book in one night, or send it by just throwing random ingredients in your dinner, and sending in all walks of life. But for me, I obviously loved sending on my snowboard. That was something that gave me a lot of joy. And afterwards, after my injury, I said, you know what, we're still gonna send it. And when I was in the hospital, I went to Craig Hospital. My buddy was a graphic designer, and they had these T-shirts that said Craig on it, and he changed the Craig logo to said Chris, and underneath it he said, "Still gonna send it." So that was kind of our motto, and it's kind of like whatever comes our way, we're gonna send it. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna adapt, and a lot of things take a lot of adaptations and creativity. Just for me to do, like I said, surfing or mountain biking, for me just to pick up something off the floor without finger function, that takes a lot of creativity. I have to, pin it in certain directions. Just driving a vehicle, I had to do a lot of modifications to my vehicle to just figure it out. But you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm still gonna send it. I was able to get back on snow, back mountain biking, which was a terrifying experience, but I love it. I truly love it. But sending it is definitely something I live by, and my friends love to support me sending it, even though sometimes I'll fall out of my chair, or I'll tip over my mountain bike, but someone's always there to pick me up, which is amazing.
that's amazing. And what I was just thinking about too was that in this idea that there are always going to be some challenges, and this is an enormous, like this could be considered one of the largest challenges, right? To be in a body that doesn't do the things you think it's going to do. It's like one of the biggest challenges probably anybody could face. And your creativity is my favorite part about this. It's like, how creative can I get? Because I'm excited to be here no matter what, and I'm still going to send it. So I got to get the most creative. And so, can you talk a little bit about creativity and how your brain works through those challenges when they come up?
For sure. I think my dad instilled a lot of like problem solving with my mind. We're always tinkering on motors, or he was a plumber, so I did a lot of plumbing when I was growing up too. So I love to like, figure out mechanically why things worked or didn't work. So I love adapting whatever it is, like my wheelchair or my water bottles, making my water bottles easier for me to pick up, and figuring out, I mean, unfortunately, I have to, don't tell my dentist, but I use my teeth a lot to open up a lot of things. And it's crazy what I can do just without finger function. Even though my fingers don't work, it's called tenodesis. Because I can curl my wrist up backwards, it kind of, it tightens the tendons in your forearm, which allows you to naturally, it's a reflex, so you can actually grab onto things. So I can like grab onto my headphones here just by curling my wrist back, and I kind of loop my thumb in. um, I have a bunch of adaptive tools. I have these jar openers that I can push a button and it opens up a jar for me, can openers. And there's a lot of things that kind of require me to get creative, especially when it's, getting into a place that's not accessible. It's either, jump on my buddy's back and get piggybacked up a flight of stairs, or, sometimes places just aren't accessible. So there's always, usually if there's people around, they're always willing to help. And even cooking too, it's figuring out like, okay, it's probably pretty dangerous for me to use like an oven top or an oven. I might burn myself. So got an air fryer, so that's a lot less or a lot more safe. And just, yeah, creativity is just a big part of my life now, for sure.
Amazing. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. This is amazing, diving deeper into this. Where can people follow up with you if they want to connect?
Of course. I have a website, www.chriswaker.com. I'm on Instagram, CWAKER, or just look up Christopher Waker. On LinkedIn, Facebook, and yeah, follow my journey. I post a bunch about, my surfing and some of the messages that I have from my public speaking and my coaching. So yeah, thanks you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I so appreciate you. Any just final words for this audience before, and you're going to be, if you want to stick around, they're going to send you some love in the chat box. Oh, actually, you know what? I have one more question, which is there any, something that your next step in your, your body, whatever you're learning to do next, that we can focus and send a blessing to collectively? Is there something specific that we could send a blessing to?
Sure. So, actually, yeah, right now, I have some bladder stuff going on, so I'm probably gonna go to the doctors after this, unfortunately. So, send a good healing blessing to my bladder right now, because it is not, it's literally pissed off, literally and figuratively. But yeah, that's about it. No, we're moving, we're grooving. Yeah.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
any last
Thank you.
words for this audience?
Um, yeah, together, just have a positive mindset. Um, don't be afraid to fail. And together, let's just keep sending it. No matter what you're going through, you got this.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This was phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Stacy.
And you're getting tons of hearts, and they might send you some more love in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So wonderful. Isn't he amazing? And I'm just going to read a couple of things. I'm seeing fire emojis, sending you blessings for a great, urology care. I didn't even know that word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm under constant urology care too. I feel you. I love that we can be authentic about what's going on in our bodies. We're like,
Right?
bladder stuff. I have intestinal stuff. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Nicholas was saying you could be a great inventor for creative tools for people. He is, you guys. His car that he's adapted, his bikes that he's adapted, it's ridiculous. Like his car has a big giant hook that picks him up and like puts him into the car. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You're like the MacGyver. Yeah. And Callie, who's a good friend of mine from Puerto Escondido, she was saying that she loves your motto and that you're inspiring. And she was saying, her dad is a paraplegic, I believe from a motorcycle accident. And living around adaptive community was one of her most magical gifts growing up too. You're inspiring
It's a
so
great,
many people.
it's a
Yeah.
great perspective to have, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
An unfortunate one to have, but once you're in it, it's definitely a perspective that you're grateful for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Sending
you,
you blessings.
Stacy.
Have a
Have a
beautiful day.
wonderful, yeah, you too.